Looking to avenge the opening night loss down at Canton Field in Saugerties tonight. Your Oneonta Outlaws back to it. Welcome back to Oneonta Outlaws Game Day. My name is Colby Smith. This Outlaw team comes off a tough loss on the road last night to the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. Ended after just 5 innings. Was the third time this year already that the Outlaws had been involved in a game that ended early due to the mercy run rules here in the PGCBL, but certainly some positives to take away from the game as Tanner Harden at the top of the lineup, once again producing for the Outlaws, had a couple of good plays in the field as well, and another guy who certainly produced in the field last night, Lucas Grantham behind the plate, continued to have some good blots behind the plate and threw out a base runner at second in that second inning for our play of the game last night. But this Outlaw team hoping that they can regroup, regather, get right back to it, and get back in the win column today against this Saugerties Stallions team that has now lost 2 in a row after they won 7 straight to open the year. They took a 10-0 loss to the Amsterdam Mohawks on Sunday, got an off day Monday before they went up to Utica last night and took a 5-4 loss. Some of their bats that were going through those first 7 games have gone cold, and so the Outlaws sending Caleb Kempler to the bump down in Saugerties tonight, hoping that he can mow down the Stallions once again and get the Outlaws back in the win column and send the Stallions to their 3rd straight loss, because with a win tonight, the Outlaws would tie the Saugerties Stallions atop the Eastern Division here in this early part of the season, and that's certainly a great spot to be in if you're the Oneonta Outlaws. Last night, despite that loss, this team tied the best start ever in Outlaws history, so plenty of things that you can look at and smile to this point on the schedule. A loss is not something that you love to see any day of the week, but losses are baseball. There's highs, there's lows, and this team has certainly found ways to turn the lows into highs time in and time out. So the positivity, the smiles, the energy, all going to have to be there on display tonight down in Saugerties. This Outlaw team playing Saugerties for the 2nd of 6 times here in 2024. We'll be live on YouTube starting at 6:50. His first pitch going to be at 7:05. Outlaws and Stallions. See you this afternoon. Redemption is certainly the word for it, and this team, fresh off a 14-0 loss in just 5 innings last night on the road at Mohawk Valley, hoping they could shake that one off here on the road tonight against the Saugerties Stallions. Welcome back to Outlaws YouTube. My name is Colby Smith. As we said, the Outlaws coming off that loss at Mohawk Valley last night. You'll hear from assistant coach Josiah Aska coming up in just a couple of minutes here, but this Outlaw team certainly didn't have it last night going up there to Mohawk Valley. Cullen Condon, the Outlaws' number 1 starter, went 2 1/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 8 runs, 6 earned runs, walking 4 and striking out just 3. Dan Bello and Lawrence Ellenson both coming out of the bullpen behind Condon last night. And one positive that Aska mentioned was the fact that this team, only having to play 5 against Mohawk Valley last night, did save some arms as they're in the midst of a very busy stretch, as they're going to play again tomorrow at home against Amsterdam, and then we'll turn around, get an off day Friday before this team goes into a stretch where they play 6 consecutive games, 6 consecutive days, with 4 of those being on the road from Damaski Field. So things going to get very quickly in terms of the travel for this Outlaws roster very quickly after getting a start this season with 5 of their first 6 games at home. As you can see here on YouTube, we're getting our home plate meeting between Colin Martin and Keaton Mark for the 2nd time this season as the Outlaws and Stallions playing Game 2 of 5 in their season series, only 2 of which are going to be down here at Saugerties is this Oneonta team here tonight, and then they're also going to be back here on June 29th. As one thing about this Outlaw Stallions season series, all 5 of the meetings happening between May 31st and June 29th. So after June 29th, these 2 teams will not see each other again until the end, unless, of course, they meet in the postseason. But we're a long ways from that as both teams playing just Game 10 tonight. The Saugerties Stallions team, we're talking about Outlaws redemption, need some redemption of their own. They've dropped 2 in a row after they won 7 straight to open their season as they enter in fresh off a 5-4 loss on the road last night at Utica. They had a couple of guys in their lineup, McIntyre and Manley, both registering 2 hits, but this offense in itself mustered just 6 hits at Utica last night. This team drew 11 watts, and the Stallions continue to figure in at second in the Eastern Division in terms of watts drawn, only behind this Oneonta Outlaws roster. So it could be a long night in terms of patience at the plate, patience, precision, whatever you want to say here between the Outlaws and Stallions. But without no further ado, we hinted at it already. Assistant coach Josiah Aska dropped by the pregame show this afternoon. Hear from him now. Back here on Outlaws pregame, Colby Smith once again joined by Outlaws assistant coach Josiah Aska. Coach, certainly a tough loss last night at Mohawk Valley, but obviously a couple of positives to take away from last night. What are some of the positive aspects you guys took away from yesterday?
We had a few hard-hit ground balls, some hard-hit line drives that just went right at people. So I could take away good at-bats. Technically, we got to save some arms, so that's another positive about it.
Well, and at the top of the lineup last night, you guys once again had Tanner Harden up there. He had a couple of hard hit balls, produced a hit up there. What's it been like having him up there at the top of the lineup?
Good, just knowing we have a guy up there that's going to fight, have a long AB, or put the ball in play and steal a base.
Well, and Connor Wading, another guy who produced a hit last night and certainly been looking sharp here these last couple of games. What are you liking out of him so far?
His approach and how mindful and thoughtful he is when he's talking to other guys about things that they should do, and maybe slight minor adjustments to their swing, just stuff like that.
Well, and how do you feel like this team really picks each other up in that sort of sense, you know, helping each other out with little aspects?
We have a lot of positivity, a lot of guys who know the game well and are willing to spread knowledge and talk to each other. And then it seems like so far everybody's pretty good friends.
Well, and talking about that arm situation that you mentioned already, Colin Condon last night, certainly a rough start for him. What'd you guys see from him there last night?
Just baseball, you know? Sometimes you don't have it, sometimes you do. And last night was one of the nights that things went the opposite way for him.
Well, and speaking of the game of baseball in itself, how do you feel like, you know, this team is rallied around circumstances and continued to stay positive despite everything?
Good. Once Condon finished and came in the dugout, the guys picked him up immediately, let him know, you know, things happen. Even though he was competing pretty well in the zone, some of the balls just got hit, and everybody was just there still cheering him on. So.
Well, and what do you say to the fact that if you take away the opening night loss to Saugerties and last night, this is a 6-1 team with just a one-run loss?
Not much to say, you know?
Well, and Coach, I got to ask as well, Saugerties was here on opening night, and like I mentioned already, you guys took a tough loss that night. What's it like just, you know, attacking a team again here tonight down at their house?
We'll probably see something new today. Just do what we can do, control our controllables, and just be the Outlaws, be great.
And Coach, one last question here before I let you go. In terms of how you guys are approaching this game tonight, what should we expect to see today?
Hopefully a dogfight. You know, they're a good team, we're a good team, two good teams playing good baseball. That's all we can ask for.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Well, if you couldn't tell, we certainly stumped Josiah Aska with that question about this outlaw record. You look back at the fact that this team fell to the Saugerties Stallions 11-0 at Damaski Field on opening night. Then they turned around and went on a 4-game win streak, took that game 1 of the doubleheader loss to Albany on Saturday, then turned around and won 2 more in a row after that, before, of course, the also avoidable loss at Mohawk Valley last night. So that in itself, if you didn't piece it together, puts this Outlaws team record at 6-3 entering the night. And you take out those 2 losses, this is a 6-1 baseball team with that 1 loss to Albany being just by 1 run. So this Outlaw team has certainly played some good baseball to this point on the season, as we'll take a quick look at tonight's starting lineup before we go over to our player interview of the night. Tanner Harden going to lead things off for the Outlaws at shortstop. Brendan Connolly going to be back in the lineup tonight playing second. Jacoby Dale, the center fielder, hits third. Jack Hopko going to be out in left field tonight, as we had a bit of a change there. Hopko's going to be in left for his first time out there for the Outlaws this season. Kyle Polak, the former Saugerties Stallion, going to be behind the dish. Brody Rowley's the extra hitter. He's pitcher to the left. Colton Harrison hits down in the 6th spot. He's at first. Chase Armstrong, the designated hitter, going to be 8th. Owen Burnsworth, the right fielder, 9th. And Jack Bateman going to be at third as they're going to do the national anthem here in Saugerties, and we'll turn things over to Brendan Connolly here on our pregame show. Back here on our pregame show, Colby Smith, and I'm super pleased to be joined today by middle infielder Brendan Connolly. Brendan, you've been red hot at the top of the lineup for this team so far. What do you contribute your success here at the start of the season to?
Yeah, just trying to stay loose, have fun, looking for my pitch in the zone, and just have fun with the boys, get some wins, and I'm hunting for my first pitch fastball, and if I get it, I'm ready to rip. So.
Well, and what kind of adjustments do you make if you don't get that first pitch fastball at the plate?
I'm still sitting, middle in fastball, and then I'll make the adjustments in a 2-strike count. But really just having fun, get my pitch, and see ball, hit ball. That's really the only mentality.
Well, and I was just talking to Josiah Aska a little bit about it, but you guys seem to, when guys get behind in counts or before you guys get in the batter's box, you all seem to be having conversations with each other, talking about adjustments you can make. What's that been like in helping you here?
Yeah, we're all, passing on information from pitchers, what we see, what we like, what he's starting us off with. And that really helps when another guy gets in the box. Pass the bat along and driving some runs.
Well, what's it been like for you here adjusting to the philosophy and approach to swing early in counts and try to get ahead?
Yeah, I've always been doing that my whole life, trying to stay first pitch, second pitch, fastball, hopping on it, staying aggressive. And, everybody's doing it here too, so I'm loving the philosophy. I think Keaton and Josiah are doing a great job, so just ready to roll with it.
Well, and what's it like playing for guys who were kind of in your shoes not too long ago and can relate to all the experiences you guys have?
Can I do that question over?
Yeah. So I said, what's it like playing for those two guys, Keaton and Josiah, that were in your shoes not too long ago?
Yeah, no, they're great. They're young coaches, so, they know what it's like as a player, and, they help us out as much as they can, and it's great playing for them.
And in terms of the success that you guys have had here at the start of the year, what's it been like being a part of a roster like this?
Yeah, this roster is great. 1 through 10 can hit in this lineup. Pitching staff has been great for us. So we're ready to roll, ready to keep on getting wins, and bounce back from yesterday.
Well, and talking about bouncing back, you guys took a tough loss to the Saugerties Stallions team that you're seeing tonight on opening night. You had 2 hits that night. What'd you see the first go-around against the Stallions?
Yeah, guy came heavy with fastballs, so I was all over that. And, just tried to get a pitch I could handle and, just put a good swing on the ball.
And I got to ask, last night you mentioned that tough loss at Mohawk Valley. How do you guys go about keeping the energy up, keeping the positivity up after a tough loss like last night?
Yeah, it's just one game. It happens in baseball. Our energy is still up. We still believe we're a great team, and we're ready to prove that tonight.
Well, and one thing that you said to me off the record yesterday that kind of stuck with me is that sometimes this game can, bite you if you let it.
Yeah.
How do you guys just try to, keep that from happening in terms of, just everything?
Yeah, this game can turn on you quick. So you just got to keep it even keel. Don't get too high when everything's going really good, and don't get too low when things are going bad. So just take one day at a time and keep playing ball, having fun with the boys. And, it's baseball, man. It's a lot of fun, so I'm having a lot of fun here.
Well, and Brendan, I got to ask, when you're talking about having a lot of fun, what's been your go-to off-day activities here in Oneonta, and what's it been like in a new spot?
Yeah, go-to off-day activities is definitely golf. We've been golfing a lot, playing some poker too. So hanging out with the boys is always fun. And golfing, I've been picking up golf a lot, so it's getting fun.
What's your favorite course you've played on here in town?
I've been playing at the Oneonta Country Club. I really like.
Well, sorry to do it to Brendan, but we're going to have to cut it off right there. All Outlaws player and coach interviews available on our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram, as well as our opening video that we started with tonight, our Oneonta Outlaws game day. You can find all that video content on our Facebook and Instagram as we're ready to get this one started here from Canton Field in Saugerties. Tanner Hardin in the box, going to take a first pitch ball up and away to begin the ball game tonight. Tanner Hardin has been red hot for the Outlaws since coming into the lineup. 5 games played, total of 6 for 14 as he takes a strike on this one right down the gut, 1-1. Hardin has 3 extra base hits so far this season, all of which are doubles. Committed to go to Wofford in the fall, as well as a couple of his teammates that you saw in the lineup last night. including Cullen Condon and Lucas Grantham, who were the pitcher and catcher up at Mohawk Valley of record last night. Now the 1-2 from Dertinger. Harden, slow grounder, going to get past Josiah Aska on the first baseline to stay alive. Harden 1 for 1 with a walk last night at Mohawk Valley. Very patient guy to play, 6 walks and 1 strikeout. Has really taken over the leadoff role for this team as Dertinger's 1-2. Slow bouncer towards second. Travella going to pick it up. Bumbles a bit at first. Fired over to first, though, in time as they get Harden 4-3 for the first out. We'll go down to the 2 spot now in Brendan Connolly, who you just heard from. Connolly already with 4 multi-hit games for the Outlaws here in 2024. 9 for 21 in total as he takes a first pitch. This Outlaws team hoping that they can get the offense jump-started early after a slow start last night as Dertinger's 1-2. Connolly lays off as it's tight for ball 2. Jacoby Dale, the center fielder, going to be up behind Connolly here in this first inning. As Dertinger once again with the 2-2, kicks and fires. Connolly with a high one out towards left, coming over to the line, back able to make the play for out number 2. Was a good fly ball read to the corner for Bad to charge over and make that play in the corner. Connolly's just had some really hard-hit balls for this Oneonta Outlaws team up there at the top of the order. And certainly he's got some to fall in, but he's also gotten robbed of some hits because that's one thing that Aska and I talked about off the record today. This Outlaw team would certainly have more hits, but they're just hitting balls right to fielders, or in a case like that, just take a couple of steps and you make the play over in the corner. So Oneonta certainly not getting the best end of things in that regard. We're just hitting balls right to fielders of the various teams they've seen thus far. As Dertinger's 0-1 to Dale, down in the dirt for ball 1. Dale also had the night off last night against Mohawk Valley. 2 for 3 against Utica the other day with a walk and stolen base as Dertinger kicks and delivers the 1-1 out and away for ball 2. Dale, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, has a couple of stolen bases, and he's a guy who's kind of slid around 1-4 in the top of the order here for Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska thus far. Dertinger kicks and delivers the 2-1. Dale, slow bouncer to third, hop hits up, fires over to Riccio in time, and they retire Jacoby Dale. The Outlaws go down 1-2-3 here in the top half of the first inning in Saugerties, and we go to the bottom half of the first here on Outlaws YouTube, with Saugerties coming to bat. Back to Canton Field here on Outlaws YouTube. Once again, we remind you, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do today. All home and road games can be streamed right here for you on Oneonta Outlaws PGCBL, except our trips to Mohawk Valley and Utica, as we do apologize, unable to stream last night up at Mohawk Valley, and that is going to continue for the Outlaws' remaining trips up there to Little Falls, as well as our trips to Utica now, with finding out that the Blue Sox have their own pay-per-view system as well. But we get ready to go for this bottom half of the first inning. Caleb Kempler has just thrown his last warm-up toss. He's a starting pitcher tonight for Oneonta. threw 60 pitches in game one on Saturday against Albany, 39 of which were for strikes. He only lasted 2 innings, and he's certainly looking to go a bit deeper tonight as he sees this 7-2 Saugerties Stallions lineup for the first time here in his PGCBL tenure. Tyler Back going to lead things off for Saugerties. Big lefty batter playing left field tonight. In just a moment, we'll run down the Saugerties lineup. Back, going to take a first pitch called strike. Hitting second, going to be Byram Hott playing third. Ethan Conrad, the right fielder, third. Ryan Riccio is at first base hitting fourth. Fritz Genther, going to be next, the designated hitters. This one shot in a foul ground out of the ballpark, left field side. So it goes quickly 0-2 on Tyler Back. Jarrett May going to be down in the sit spot. He's the extra hitter. Michael Cuello, the center fielder, hits seventh. Rich Rodriguez, the shortstop, eighth. Mario Travella playing second, hits ninth. And down in the 10 spot here for Saugerties tonight is their catcher, Zach Anderson. The 0-2 going to be a brushback, as that'll send Tyler Back out of the batter's box to take a moment to regroup with the count now 1-2. Back made his Saugerties debut last night on the road at Utica. It was the second time in the last 5 days Saugerties had traveled to Utica. 1-2, out toward left field. Hopko drifting over in the corner, able to yank it down for the out. So there's one away here for Caleb Kempler in the bottom half of the first. Much more efficient first out than what he had against Albany, as Kempler really struggled over those 2 innings to record his 6 outs. Finished the game with 2 walks and 5 hits. Had a couple of really hard hit balls against Albany. Mark and Asco were saying that Kempler located well in his outing against the Albany Baseball Club on Saturday, but was just getting balls hard hit, and they were laying off pitches on the corners that Kempler just couldn't sell. As the first pitch to Hot, tip bat foul. Hot, 8 games played so far this season. 9 for 30. He's got 3 doubles and 1 homer, so certainly a guy who's a threat to go for extra bases at the dish. Kempler from the first base side of the rubber comes set with the 0-1. Tip straight back to the screen, foul again, 0-2. Hunt, a former Oneonta Outlaws. He played 6 games for this team a season ago before opting to go home and train at home for the remainder of the summer. He's now back here in Saugerties, playing a second year in the PGCBL, and has certainly already gone over his game total from a year ago. As Kempler's 0-2. Good break, but it missed the plate. It'll be 1-2. Kempler looking to add a split change to his pitch arsenal this summer here in the PGCBL. A guy who throws just a fastball and a slider, but 2 different variations of the slider, which you'll see both, as the 1-2 tipped up over the screen and out of the ballpark once again, as Hot stays alive. Looking left to right in the outfield for Oneonta here in this one, it's Hopko, Dale, and Burnsworth. And from first to third on the infield, it's Colton Harrison, Brendan Connolly, Tanner Harden, Jack Bateman. Kyle Pollock is behind the plate with his all-red catcher's gear as the 1-2, huge swing and a miss. Is Hot going to be sent down on strikes, and there's 2 away for Ethan Conrad. Nice to see Kempler get an early strikeout, should boost his confidence. And playing this loaded Saugerties roster, certainly need a little confidence boost right from the get-go. Ethan Conrad in the box as Kempler, good break, couldn't get it on the upper outside corner to go though. It'll be 1-0 on Ethan Conrad, who's 10 for 22 and the team batting average leader here for Saugerties. 1-0 in there for a called strike as it goes back even. Conrad with 4 extra base hits, as he's got a double, a triple, and a pair of homers. And also is the team RBI leader with 9 as the 1-1 bounced in the dirt for ball 2. Ryan Riccio waiting on deck here for Saugerties if they need him in this bottom of the first. The Stallions tonight in their home white tops with the black stallion lettering, gold trim. And they got the white pants with black sots as the 2-1 drilled out to the gap in left center field. Going back, gets over the fence. Ethan Conrad going to drill his third homer of the season right over that 360 sign in the right center gap. So Saugerties going to be out to an early 1-0 lead here at their home Cantine Field. Certainly not the start you wanted if you're Caleb Kempler after getting 2 quick outs on your first 2 hitters. But Conrad just got all of that fastball down low and away in the zone. Is the first pitch going to be a called strike to Ryan Riccio. Riccio 0 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout against Utica last night. Trying to get himself back in the hit column as he lays off this one as it was in the lefty batter's box. 1-1 it'll go. Riccio in total, homer, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts to his line on the season as the 1-1 broke away off the plate again, 2-1. Riccio's franked in the lineup by French Gentler, waits on deck here for Saugerties. 2-1 pitch from Kempler, smoked in the shallow center field. Dale and Burnsworth both coming over. Dale is the one underneath it for the catch. So Jacoby Dale makes the play to end this bottom half of the first inning, but not before Saugerties gets on the board, courtesy of a homer over the right center fence from Ethan Conrad, top of the second. Coming up next, it's 1-0 Stallions. Welcome back to Cantine Field, top half of inning number 2. And if you're just tuning in to join us, Saugerties out to an early 1-0 lead as Ethan Conrad going yard over the 360 sign in right center for a first inning homer on Caleb Kempler. But Kempler gets 3 quick outs in that inning as well, and he'll be poised and ready to come back for inning number 2 after the Outlaws bat here. First pitch going to be a called strike to Hopko. Hopko playing left field for the first time for the Outlaws here in 2024 tonight as the 0-1 bounced just beyond the plate for ball 1. Hopko 5 for 14 in 5 games played, with a double and 3 RBIs as the 1-1 from Dertinger going to be tipped straight up, back over the screen and out of the park, 1-2. Hopko 0 for 2 with a run, a pair of walks, and a stolen base the other night against Utica. Was off yesterday as the 1-2 drilled out towards center field. Cuello drifting over with a great catch. He slides down to make that play, and there's one away here for the Outlaws. Hopko looked for certain like that one was going to fall in, but that's another prime example of what we talked about. The Outlaws just getting robbed of hits in the field. with great defensive plays and balls hit right at guys out there. As Polek going to shoot the first pitch he sees up in the shallow center. Cuello coming in, pulls it down for the out, and there's two quickly away, courtesy of two F8s here for the Outlaws in the top of the second. Brody Raleigh, Oneonta's extra hitter for the evening, going to come up next. Got a key stat on Brody Raleigh as this Oneonta team is 5-0 with Brody Raleigh in the lineup here thus far. This is the first time that he's just had the hitting duties in a game as he's played the field in his first 5, as that's up and away for ball 1. Found out today in talking to Brody a little bit, he's cousins with Cal Raleigh of the Seattle Mariners, which was a pretty cool thing to hear. As the 1-0 from Dertinger broke over the plate for strike 1, and it goes back even at 1-1. So Brody certainly got it in his bloodlines to be a successful ball player, and he just comes off a good freshman year at Western Carolina as he lays off this one for ball 2. Raleigh's batting average at Western Carolina in his freshman year, certainly not where he wanted it to be. But it's coming in here this summer, hoping to get some good reps and go back to Western Carolina, better ball players. The 2-1 out to left field, going back in the corner, back just in front of the track, able to haul it in for out number 3. So the Outlaws go down 1-2-3 here in the top half of the second on 3 consecutive flyouts. Bottom half of the second coming up next here on YouTube. Stallions still lead this one, 1-0. Five, 6, 7 going to be up for the Saugerties Stallions here in the bottom half of inning number 2. Caleb Kempler back and ready to get some more work in for the Outlaws, who just went down 1-2-3 in the top half of inning number 2. If you're just dropping by to join us here on YouTube, Rich Genther, Jarrett May, and Michael Cuello are going to be the 3 to come to the dish for the Stallions here in the second inning. Ethan Conrad, the guy who got Saugerties on the board in the bottom half of the first, with a 2-1. Heck of a shot over the 360 sign in right center. That's going to go in the opposite batter's box for ball 1 to Genther. 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout against Utica last night. Has the Stallions team putting together just 6 total hits and 4 runs up there at Murnane. Tip straight bat foul, and the count going to go to 1-1. So Caleb Kempler quickly working in himself on a 1-1 count, first batter of inning number 2. Lights are on here at Canton Field in Saugerties early tonight as the 1-1. A little slow dribbler, going to get in foul ground on the third base side. 1-2 it'll go. He's 5 for 16 in total on the season, does have a triple. 4 stolen bases with 4 walks and 4 strikeouts are his stat line. He's in the designated hitter tonight for Colin Martin's club as that sails up and away for ball 2. Kempler working from the first base side of the rubber. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second. 2-2. Smoked once again foul down that third base line as Genther stays alive. Kempler from Princeton Junction, New Jersey, was the ERA leader at Marist this season in just his sophomore year. 7 starts, 12 total appearances, and his record certainly doesn't illustrate how productive he was, with just a 1-2 mark with 1 save. The 2-2 elevator shaft on the infield, just barely going to drift over the Outlaw dugout out of play. Genther working a deep at bat to begin this bottom half of the second. This will be pitch number 7 coming up from Kempler to Genther. As he sets and delivers towards third, just past Bateman's glove, rolls into foul territory in left field. Genther going to tumble down between first and second. He gets back up, throw from Hopko, not going to be in time. As Connolly was covering that second base bag, but they'll check on Genther to make sure he's all right after he took a big tumble running between first and second. He's going to get himself a double, which is certainly something, after Hopko threw an absolute dime from left field into second base. Again, it was Connolly who covered that bat for the Outlaws, and now Saugerties is going to have a runner in scoring position with nobody out for Jarrett May down here in the 6th spot. Kempler with a quick lootsy to second, home with a pitch, clips him on the leg, and Jarrett May going to fire the bat away. This will be 2 on for the Stallions with nobody out. So it'll be first and second as they had Genther charging down to third base, but with the ball hitting Jarrett May, of course, he's forced to go back to second base. So it'll be first and second with nobody out for Michael Cuello. Michael Cuello, opening night in Oneonta, went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Kempler takes a glance down the second, home with a pitch. Great break as he gets a called strike to go his way. Michael Cuello, 6 games played, just 3 for 19 with a pair of ribbies, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Also has 2 RBIs to his credit as Kempler's 0-1. Big swing and a miss. As Cuello down to his final strike here at the plate. Third base is the only spot to put a Stallion. As Kempler allowing the first 2 to reach here in the bottom of the second, already trailing in this game 1-0 after the first inning homer by Ethan Conrad. Quick glance to second, the 0-2. Slow dribbler, just going to get past Jet Bateman in foul territory. And so Michael Cuello stays alive. Michael Cuello in center field tonight for the Stallions. 0 for 2 with a walk, a strikeout, and a stolen base in this team's 10-0 loss to the Amsterdam Mohawks on Sunday. 0-2, both runners wanted to go but stay put as that's a ball, and it'll go 1-2. Kempler in his outing against Albany on Saturday may have only lasted 2 innings, but he certainly got hosed on pitches that were on the corners as the strike zone just seemed to get tighter and tighter with every pitch he threw. As the 1-2, swing and a miss, and he sends down Michael Cuello for the first out here in the second. Kempler went back to that fastball, low and away, and he just gets Michael Cuello offering at that one as Rich Rodriguez is going to come up next for the Stallions. Rodriguez playing in his 3rd game here at home tonight for Saugerties. This team is 4-1 to start the season at Canton Field. They did lose their last outing here at home, which was Sunday, as they fell to the Amsterdam Mohawks 10-0. We mentioned it in our pregame show, but both teams looking for redemption tonight as the Outlaws trying to avenge their loss up at Mohawk Valley last night, and Saugerties coming in on a 2-game slide after winning their first 7 of the year. Rodriguez ahead in the count, 1-0 on Kempler. Checklet down to second. Kempler comes set and fires it in. Huge swing, and Rodriguez whiffed at that one as it'll go 1-1. Rodriguez 1 for 3 with an RBI and a strikeout up at Utica last night. Kempler quickly ready once more, deals the 1-1, popped up just past the Outlaw dugout, 1-2. So Kempler After allowing his first two to reach in this inning, now working ahead on two consecutive hitters with Mario Travella waiting on deck. Travella had a homer in the opening night win for Saugerties, as that's up and away for ball 2. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. So the count now 2-2 on Rodriguez, one away here in the bottom half of inning number 2 from Canton Field and Saugerties. Game 2 of 6 in the season set between Oneonta and Saugerties is the 2-2 drilled toward Bateman. He's going to wait. Going to tag out Genther just to get the one out, as he wasn't able to throw that one over to first in time as Rodriguez was bulling it down the line. So nothing wrong with just getting the lead runner, as we'll score that as a 5-3 to retire, or 5 unassisted to retire Genther, excuse me. So if you're scoring at home, 5 unassisted on Genther, and Rodriguez reaching courtesy of a fielder's choice ahead of Mario Travella down here in the 9 spot for the Stallions. Kempler deals this one, called strike on the lower outside edge. Travella 1 for 3 with a run, a walk, and 4 ribbies on opening night at Oneonta, as he had himself a 3-run homer, as that's out and away for ball 1. It was certainly not the start to the season that the Outlaws wanted, as they gave up back-to-back 4 spots in the second and third innings to the Stallions, allowed a couple more, and the Stallions took that 7-inning, 11-0 win. 1-1 out into the gap in left center field. This one falls in. Jarrett May's going to turn third. Throw gets into Kempler, but it won't be in time, as the Stallions going to get another. It's 2-0 with Travella picking up the RBI. So it'll remain first and second as Rodriguez held over there at second base, but the damage is done to make it 2-0 with the Stallions scoring in 2 consecutive innings to begin this ball game. It's the 7th RBI already for Mario Travella, as that one breaks in for a called strike 1 to Anderson. Anderson, the 10-hole hitter tonight for Martin Stallions, who've already registered 3 hits here over the first 2 frames. Batting helmet popped off with a big hack he took at that one, as he's quickly behind 0-2 in the count. Anderson has not played since Saturday night up at Utica, when 0 for 2 with a strikeout in that one. Kempler with a quick glance to second, the 0-2, out and away, once again low, ball 1. Kempler trying to get the strike 3 call to get out of the inning and get the Outlaws back to the plate. Kempler once again set with the 1-2. Kits, slow grounder towards short. Hardin backhands this one, fires over to first on the hop. Safe. So Hardin makes a heck of a play at shortstop to backhand that one, but just can't power it across the diamond in time, and the bases are going to be jacked here for the Stallions in the bottom half of the second with 2 outs. So Rodriguez over at third, it's Travella who stands at second, and now Anderson's at first on the infield single. Back to the top of the order we go for Tyler Back, who flew out to left his first time up back in the first. Back took a huge hack and couldn't connect. He trails 0-1. Bat fell behind in the count to Kempler. 0-2, took a ball, and then smoked one out to Hop going left. Back in that first inning, 0-1. Slow little dribbler, going to get over. And they say foul tip, so it'll be 0-2. Outlaws had a couple of fluky balls last night like that up in Mohawk Valley against the Diamond Dogs as well. There were a couple that everybody didn't think touched a Diamond Dog in the batter spots, which from our vantage point where we were sitting on the third base line certainly didn't look like it, but nonetheless, is that 0-2 in tight for ball 1. Some bad calls that the Outlaws would have liked to have had back up in Little Falls last night, but you can't blame those calls Outlaws getting outplayed last night at MV. It's the 1-2 once again, and a little dribbler on the infield. Harrison racing to the bag. It'll be a 3 unassisted to retire Bach here in the second inning. The Stallions going to strand the bases loaded against Caleb Kempler. They do play another, and we go to the top of the third here at Canton Field. It is a 2-0 Stallions lead. Top of the third inning back here on Outlaws YouTube. It's going to be 7, 8, 9 up for the Outlaws here in this top half of the third as they hope to finally get some offense going, as this team has struggled here these last couple of days to get the bats going between that loss last night at Mohawk Valley and even against Utica the other night. 11 team hits in that one, but they were certainly cold for stretches of it as Harrison takes a first pitch called strike. 0-1 to Harrison, going to drill him on the shoulder, and he flips this one away. The hit by pitch leader in the PGCBL takes another, as now that's 6 that he's drawn. So Harrison takes one up and in on the shoulder, and he's on base to lead off this bottom of the third for now Chase Armstrong. Armstrong, the switch hitter here for the Outlaws, opting to take this at bat from the left side against the righty, and Dertinger is back out for his third inning as that one's fouled straight back, 0-1. Armstrong's only played the field twice in 5 games for the Outlaws thus far. At the plate, he's gone 2 for 12 with a double, a triple, and 3 ribbies. Harrison's got a couple of step lead off of first. Counts 0-1. Owen Burnsworth waits on deck here for the Outlaws. Dertinger set from the first base side, deals the 0-1. At the hands, it's ball 1. Armstrong just finishing his sophomore year at Ohio Northern University, coming here to Oneonta this summer, looking to get some reps at the plate. Harrison's on the run. Throw down from Mauricio to second base. Not going to get there in time, and Harrison's got himself a stolen bag. So Harrison will be in scoring position with nobody out here in this top of the third for the Outlaws. Count now 2-1 on Armstrong after that one was low. Dertinger looking to get out of this jam after not allowing a single Outlaw base runner in the first 2 innings. That's out and away, ball 3, as it's once again high. Owen Burnsworth, Jack Bateman going to be up to follow Chase Armstrong here in this top of the third for the Outlaws. Harrison drifting off that bag as that misses the plate for ball 4. So Harrison going to stay put down there at second, and Armstrong going to fire the bat away as the Outlaws will have first and second with nobody out here to begin this 3rd inning. Burnsworth hasn't played since Game 2 on Saturday against Albany. Went 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored, an RBI, and a walk in that one. Looking to get a big hit here against Dertinger. Shows bunt instead. Riccio comes in on it off the mound. Dertinger powered down to first, but Burnsworth with a productive out as both base runners going to advance for the Outlaws, and it'll be 2nd and 3rd with 1 away. So it's 1-4 to retire Burnsworth on the first pitch he sees. And Bateman now going to step up for the Outlaws. Going to pick up an RBI. Bateman in all 6 games that he's played before tonight, he's been down in the 10 spot here for Keaton Mark. Once again finds himself there as Bateman lays off this one for a called strike. Dertinger got a good break on that one back over the plate. It's Bateman 5 for 18 in his 6 games played thus far. 0-1, he lays off, and it's ball 1. Looked good from our angle up here, but Dertinger doesn't get the call to go his way. As Bateman flaring that bat around in the box. First base, the only bag open with 1 away. Outlaws still looking for their first hit. Huge swing, and Bateman whiffed at that one, and he'll trail 1-2. Bateman 1 for 4 with a run scored against Utica. Had the night off last night at Mohawk Valley. As the Outlaws totally different look lineup tonight here in Saugerties. 1-2, tipped straight up foul by Bateman. So he hangs alive before we turn things back over to the top of the Outlaw lineup with Tanner Harden waiting on deck. Bateman sets up with a very even stance in the box, both feet in tight to the chalk line. Dertinger already threw 2 1/3, infield drifting in as that misses low and outside for ball 2. Dertinger once again goes off speed, can't locate it through the zone. Is Bateman able to pull it back even? Armstrong's down there at second. Harrison stands at third. Outlaws looking for their first run, down 2-0 here in Saugerties. 2-2 pitch. Low and away once again. Couldn't get Bateman a chase. It'll be 3-2. Bateman doesn't chase at anything. It's down and away outside. Looks for his pitch. Won't swing at anything else. Dertinger working from the stretch with 2 on base. Delivers the 3-2. Bateman with a high shot on the infield, going over Riccio and foul ground. Yanks it in for the out. Harrison wanted to come in to score, but not going to test Riccio's arm as he'll stay put down there at third. So there'll be 2 away, but still 2 in scoring position for the Outlaws. Like Bateman just got underneath that ball. Josiah Asco was saying something to him before he walked back to the Outlaw dugout. So Bateman certainly going to want a do-over of that 3-2. Is Harden going to settle himself into the box for his second at bat? Dertinger once again from the stretch. Harden first pitch swinging, just barely foul. Took an odd turn off the bat. Took a turn past that chalk line, and Harden now down in the count, 0-1. The Outlaws going to be back home tomorrow night as they'll take on the defending champion Amsterdam Mohawks for the second time. They're taking a 10-3 win against the Mohawks last Friday night in their first meeting. The 0-1 smoked up in foul ground. Down in that left field corner, 0-2 is Harden quickly down to his last strike, and Dertinger's 1 strike away from getting out of this inning. Harden, it was nice to meet his parents up in Mohawk Valley last night. Came up from South Carolina for a couple of days. As Harden Takes a hop, Riccio trying to race him to the bag, and it'll be a 3 unassisted to retire Harden. As Riccio winning the foot race, certainly didn't have as far to go as Harden, but Harden turning the wheels on to try to get down that baseline in time. Outlaws strand a pair on base, still have yet to register a hit, and we go to the bottom half of the third here at Canton Field, still 2-0 Stallions. Bottom of the third, back here on Outlaws YouTube, is the Outlaws hoping that they can get 3 quick outs and get back to the play in the fourth as they showed some signs of life in the top half of the third inning, but ultimately stranding 2 on base and both in scoring position at that as we turn things over to the Saugerties. 2-3-4 in the lineup, hot up first, takes a first pitch ball. In just a moment, we'll take our first look of the evening at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard. Hot struck out swinging against Kempler back in the first as the 1-0 skyrocketed to center field. Dale easily on that one for the out. Jacoby Dale makes those plays, routine or not, look easy out there in center field as the Outlaws certainly fortunate with the outfield defense that they have this summer. Stacked from one foul line to the other out there with options on any given night as even the outfielders who aren't out there tonight, possess great gloves. Oneonta's defense, certainly something they've prided themselves on thus far here on the summer as Conrad takes a first pitch strike. We're back at the 3 spot in the order, and it was Conrad who, with 2 outs, homered back in the bottom of the first to open the scoring in this one. That bounced in the dirt for ball 1. Conrad, a guy who loves to hunt those fastballs, as the 1-1 in at the shoelaces for ball 2. Sun starting to peek back out from behind the clouds here in this bottom of the third inning as Kempler's 2-1. Home a bit low once more, 3-1. Kempler trying to go as deep as he can tonight for this Outlaw team at the start of this ball game. Have a handful of pitchers available out of the bullpen, a fortunate situation to be in after the way the last couple of days have gone. As Kempler gets a strike on the breaking pitch, and the count will go full with 1 away. Ryan Riccio waiting on deck to come up next for the Stallions. Kempler ready for the payoff pitch. Comes set, delivers the 3-2 in the air, out to shallow center field. Dale is Harden over the shoulder. That's a play of the game candidate right there as Tanner Harden, backhanded catch, pulls that one in for out number 2. Conrad absolutely smoking that one off the bat, and Tanner Harden waving off Jacoby Dale, who was coming on that one from center field to make that play for the second out, and Ryan Riccio now going to come to the dish. Riccio flew out to center his first time up and going to foul tip one straight back to go down on the count 0-1. Kempler once again working ahead of a hitter, 4th consecutive batter He's gotten a first pitch strike on with the exception of hot on the first pitch swing as that misses up and away, ball one. Kempler working from the first base side of the rubber with nobody on base, delivers the 1-1. Just barely missed the play as it goes 2 balls and a strike. Kempler went 5 innings or deeper 3 times at Marist this year, so he certainly showed he has some distance in his arm as the 2-1 breaks over the plate for a called strike 2. And Kempler now 1 strike away from getting out of this 3rd inning. Riccio with his right foot way up on the plate, came around, and he gets a called strike 3. Kempler going to get Riccio swinging, and well, first, before we take a break and head into the 4th inning, going to take a look at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard for the first time tonight. Up at Watertown, a 5-0 lead for the Rapids on Glens Falls. Batavia Mutt Dogs leading Jamestown 4-0 out of Deethritt Park in the top of the 5th. Utica and Amsterdam are tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 4th up at Shuttleworth. Bottom of the 2nd at Newark. It's a 3-1 lead for the Pilots. In the top of the 4th at Geneva, the Red Wings leading Auburn 1-0. And here, of course, in Saugerties, heading to the 4th, your score 2-0 Stallions as we step aside here on Outlaws YouTube. Top of the 4th inning back here at Canton Field. The Outlaws going to bring 2-3-4 to the plate to face Dertinger, who's back out for his 4th inning of work. The Outlaws got 2 on base back in the 3rd inning, but stranded Harrison over at 3rd and Chase Armstrong down at 2nd. As this offense still looking for their first hit of the ball game with Brendan Connolly, the man you heard from in our pregame show today, coming to the plate. Connolly got to catch up a little bit with him off the record yesterday. We were talking about the go-to things to do on off days, and Connolly and I certainly clicked at the fact that he's a big beach guy on his off days as he takes a first pitch strike. Obviously no beaches around the Oneonta area, but Connolly down from Long Island, and his grandparents have a beach house in New Jersey as he tipped that one off himself foul, and he quickly trails 0-2. Connolly flew out to left field on a 2-2 back in the 1st inning. Stands way back off the plate in the batter's box. Dertinger fires the 0-2. Connolly brought the bat off the shoulder, but not around enough to draw the strike 3 call as it goes 1-2. Jacoby Dale and Jack Kopko going to be up to follow him here in this inning. Dertinger kicks and delivers the 1-2. Connolly with a little daisy cutter out towards 2nd. Travella fires to Riccio in time for the out, as it'll be a 4-3 to retire Connolly to begin the Outlaws' 4th. Jacoby Dale going to come up next here for Oneonta. Dale grounded out 5-3 on a 2-1 back in the 1st inning. Now facing Dertinger for a 2nd time as Dertinger trying to continue to mow through this Outlaw lineup and give this team some innings as that's tipped up foul and the count will go 0-1. Saugerties going to be off tomorrow, and then they'll turn around and start a stretch where they play 7 consecutive days as the 0-1. Dale high towards center, falls right down into the glove of Cuello, and they'll be 2 away for the Outlaws here in the 4th. So Jacoby Dale, 2 hard-hit balls off the bat once again, and he doesn't get either to fall for him as he hits a ground out his first time up, and then a line shot to center as Quay only had to take 1 step to his right to haul that one in, ahead of Jack Hopko, who flew out to center to begin the Outlaws' second. It's a first pitch strike right down Broadway, and Hopko will trail in the count 0-1. Outlaws still seeking that first hit as Hopko lays off this one. It goes back even at 1-1. Hopko from the Binghamton area, so not too far from home, playing his college ball in Oneonta, out into the gap in right center field. This one's going to fall in and roll to the wall. Hopko, a big turnaround first. He's in a second, standing up, and the Outlaws have their first hit of the game. So Hopko drilling that one to the gap in right center field, forcing Conrad and Quayle to run for it. And he's at second with 2 away for Kyle Polak. Polak flew out to center field on the first pitch he saw back in the second. Looking to drive in Hopko and get the Outlaws on the board, down by 2 here in the 4th on the road. Dertinger with a long look to second, home with the first pitch to Polak, and it's a called strike as it'll go 0-1 on Polak. Brody Raleigh, the extra hitter, waiting on deck for the Outlaws here in this 4th inning if his number's called. Dertinger, another long look to second, home with the 0-1 as this one skyrocketed past the seating area on the first baseline and out of the park. 0-2. It's Dertinger 1 pitch away from stranding an Outlaw in scoring position for a 2nd consecutive inning. Outlaws leaving 2 on base back in the 3rd after they went down 6 consecutive through the first 2 frames. Dertinger once again ready. Comes set the 0-2 and just missed the zone on the lower outside corners. It'll be 1-2. We had some delayed strike call drama in our game the other night up at Damaski against Utica. As the game ended on a delayed 3rd strike call, we sat there holding our breaths, and finally, after a good 3-4 seconds or so, the home plate umpire ringing up Utica's leadoff guy. 1-2 to short. Rodriguez comes in, fired to Riccio in time for the out, and it'll be a 6-3 to strand yet another runner in scoring position for the Outlaws in this 4th inning. We will go to the Saugerties half of the 4th on Outlaws YouTube. 2-0, Stallions remain in control. Back here at Canton Field, bottom half of the 4th inning, about ready to get underway. The Outlaws bringing their first arm out of the bullpen is Caleb Kempler, only going to go 3 innings in his 2nd start here in Oneonta. Champlin 2 innings pitched against the Watertown Rapids last Tuesday. It's been 8 days since he saw the hill. 2 innings against Watertown, gave up 1 hit, 2 runs, both of which were charged as earned, walking 2 in that one as he saw 9 batters and threw just shy of 60 pitches. So Champlin certainly has been a minute since he was out on the hill for the Outlaws and looking to get some good work in here on the road against the Saugerties Stallions team that has been also successful to start the season coming in. It's 7-2. This Outlaw team finally getting their first hit of the ball game in that top half of the fourth, but they once again strand a runner on base as Hopko, after doubling, left down there at second, as Dertinger has been absolutely brilliant to start this game on the hill for Saugerties. Fritz Genther going to lead off this bottom of the fourth against Champlin, as it'll be 5-6-7 to come to the dish for Saugerties. Kempler got a 1-2-3 in the third before being yanked out of this ball game. And there are quite a few conversations going on down in the Outlaw bullpen. So we'll see how long the leash is going to be for Champlin tonight. As I said, a handful of arms available for the Outlaws tonight, but they do have another game to plan for, as they got tomorrow at home against the Amsterdam Mohawks. Make sure you come join us. It'll be a 7 o'clock first pitch, happy hour, sponsored by Omnigain Brewery. Going to run from 5 to 6 ahead of that one. 1-0 pitch from Champlin. In there tight for ball 2. Jarrett May, the extra hitter, and Michael Quayle, the center fielder, are going to follow Genther here in this bottom of the fourth for Saugerties. Champlin's 2-0. Sales in the opposite batter's box, ball 3. So Champlin has not found the strike zone yet. 3-0 the count, and you can see here the cloud coverage absolutely beautiful above the outfield at Canton Field here on the road for the Outlaws. 3-0, catch that lower outside corner, 3-1 it'll be. Outlaws get through this game tonight at Saugerties, have that home game tomorrow against Amsterdam, then we'll be off Friday before 3 more consecutive road games, Saturday at Amsterdam, Sunday at Boonville. High one out in the air, left center, Dale with a can of corn on the track. Dale just sticking that glove right up there and hauling it in to now bring up Jarrett May. Some of these balls have carried quite well for the Stallions. Not too much wind tonight on this Wednesday night, which is certainly something that we've yet to see in a game night at Damaski Field. Wind always whipping here when the Outlaws are at home, as that's ball 1 to Jarrett May. Saugerties saw it on opening night there at Damaski Field. Had quite a few balls that traveled deep into the outfield with the wind that always seems to be raging. Umpires say that May came around on the check swing, and the count goes 1-1. May was hit by a pitch and came around the score back in the second inning. Is this his second trip to the plate and seeing a second consecutive new pitcher? Another high fly ball out in the left center. Hopko charging in, pulls it down for the out. So 2 quick outs for Adam Champlin coming out of the bullpen here for the Outlaws. Champlin never went more than 3 innings at SUNY Cobleskill this year. We saw him go 2 in his first outing as an Outlaw. So we'll see what he's got in the tank tonight here at Saugerties. Probably a lot of things going to depend on how well Saugerties is seeing the ball against him, because you've certainly heard it from Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska the last few days on our pregame interviews. Sometimes it's just a matter of the pitching changes being of how well opposing teams seeing the ball against Outlaws pitchers. Because we specifically talked about that 1 2/3 innings appearance the other day for Brian Dangler as Champlin's 1-0. Right back to him. Champlin going to turn over to first as that goes 1-3 for out number 3. And Saugerties goes down 1-2-3 here in this 4th inning. We will go to the top of the 5th here on Outlaws YouTube. Saugerties remains on top of this one by a 2-0 score. Top of the fifth inning at Canton Field, and the line will be closed on Sean Dertinger as he goes 4 innings, surrendering just 1 hit, no runs, no earned runs. Didn't record a strikeout, had 1 walk and 1 hit by pitch. So 4 innings for Dertinger, and we got a new arm to report for the Saugerties Stallions as Nick Pettit, a familiar face to this Outlaw lineup, going to come in and take over the pitching duties. He got the opening night start on the bump for Saugerties up at Oneonta on May 31st, took the win in that game as he gave up just 2 hits, walked 1, and struck out 6. And so Oneonta going to see him for the second time, and Pettit back to it for the first time since June 4th when he went 3 innings, giving up just 1 hit against Glens Falls here in an 8-1 home win. Brody Raleigh going to lay off the first pitch as it'll be ball 1. Raleigh has one of the best eyes in this Outlaw lineup. Always lays off and waits as he hits a bouncer to third, charging hot, not going to fire the throw, and Raleigh's got himself an infield single to begin the Outlaw half of the 5th. So Raleigh, as that would have been a tough play for Hott. And as we always say, certainly probably would have been an error in Amsterdam. But nonetheless, Brody Raleigh on first base to begin this 5th inning, and Colton Harrison going to step up next for the Outlaws. The Amsterdam Mohawks come to town tomorrow to play Oneonta as the Outlaws got the best end. Game 1, Harrison tipped that one straight bat foul. It'll go 0-1. Brody Raleigh really showing off the speed to get down that baseline on that little dribbler over to Hott there at third. This Outlaw team very aggressive on the base pass so far to begin the season. Always getting the sends early from Azka. Raleigh on the move on the 0-1. Throw down from Mauricio to second. Out. Raleigh was in there in plenty of time, but they call him out at second. Raleigh had that foot in there on the bag, but they gun him down 2-4 at second base, and there's 1 away here in the 5th, and the count's now 1-1 on Harrison. Raleigh having a quick conversation there with Josiah Azka as it looked like he had the send on. 1-1 pitch to Harrison, going to be a called strike. And the Outlaws just having a hard time getting anything to break their way here in this little road stand ahead of coming back home tomorrow. Pettit kicks and delivers the 1-2. Harrison a huge swing, and he'll be down on strikes as there's 2 away here in the top of the 5th. Harrison going to walk back to the dugout. He's having a quick conversation in the on-deck circle with Owen Burnsworth. There was one thing that we talked about with Brendan Connolly today in specific, and that was the fact how much this team talks to each other between at-bats. Well, guys are in the on-deck circle and so on, trying to make in-game adjustments, trying to get the better end of pitchers. Everybody on this roster, 1 to 10, night in and night out, pits each other up. One thing that's been so great to be around and be a part of is this Outlaw team also positive is the 0-1 Armstrong. Going to chop it back just to the left of the Outlaw dugout, foul. So Pettit 1 strike away from getting out of his first inning of relief after a leadoff single to Brody Raleigh. Pettit's 0-2. Armstrong gets rung up. Armstrong having a word with the home plate umpire as Pettit went to the off speed at the belt. And the Outlaws going to be retired in order in the 5th as Brody Raleigh being thrown out, caught stealing. We're halfway home here from Saugerties. Bottom of the 5th up next. It's 2-0 Stallions. Bottom of the 5th inning, back here on Outlaws YouTube. All games home and away with the exception of our trips to Mohawk Valley and Utica streamed right here. So make sure you subscribe today at Oneonta Outlaws PGCBL here on YouTube. And make sure as well that you go on and follow our social media pages, Oneonta Outlaws on Facebook, at Oneonta Outlaws PGCBL on Instagram and Twitter, because we post lots of great stuff for you viewing pleasures there. Champlin quickly going to get ahead on his first battery season of 5th. Rich Rodriguez, 0-1. Champlin working from the first base side of the rubber with the base paths empty. Rears one in there for ball 1 as the count goes even. Saw Rich Rodriguez work a good eye in his first at bat. 2-2 count. Reach base courtesy of a fielder. But Rodriguez is going to be safe as Harrison dropped the ball. So Harrison stands in the way on that one, and they actually give an E5 here in Saugerties on that one. As it looked like a good throw from Bateman, all things considered. Was a bit high, pull Harrison off the bat, but certainly the scores on the road not kind to the Outlaws thus far here in 2024. And up next will come Mario Travella with now a runner at first here for Saugerties. Champlin, a little pickoff throw to first. Trying to keep Rodriguez honest down there at that first base bag. Outlaws, nobody up and throwing yet down in the bullpen, but as we've said a couple of times already, do have a handful of arms available out of the bullpen tonight. A called strike to Travella, as it'll go 0-1. Champlin, I'm sure Keaton, Mark, and Josiah Aska hoping they can get at least 2 innings out of him tonight. As Champlin, a quick nod home, delivers the 0-1. And he hits Travella. Looked like the fastball just kind of got out of the hand of Champlin on that one. As a home plate umpire didn't seem to want to give Travella the free bad, but it'll be first and second with nobody out here against Champlin. And Polak not going out to talk to Champlin yet. I think they're going to see how he poises himself, facing some adversity here in this bottom of the 5th. Seems like everybody out of the Outlaw bullpen is having to see some adversity-type situations here over these last few games, despite the Outlaws picking up some wins. It's not like this team has gone on a losing skid. Their losses have all been sporadic. As after that opening night loss, they turned around and won 6 of 8. Tonight's game 10 here for Oneonta. Record 6-3. Saugerties 7-2. Champlin, a quick little lootsy to second. The 1-0 broke over the plate for a called strike as it goes 1-1 on Anderson. Top of the order waits on deck for Saugerties as Anderson down in the 10 spot here for Colin Martin tonight at home. Saugerties going to have an off day tomorrow, and then they'll be back in action at UAlbany against the Albany Baseball Club Friday as that misses the plate for ball 2. Outlaws home against Amsterdam, then 3 straight road games, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, including that road game at Boonville Sunday, which is Father's Day, and the Lumberjets wanted to let you know, doing something special for your Outlaw dads, as all dads get in free up at Boonville Sunday as that hits the screen. And the count goes 2-2. So we appreciate Boonville giving us the heads up on that one to alert all our Outlaw dads that attendance for dads will be free at Boonville Sunday. Also be at Watertown Monday night, so it'll be 3 late night trips for the Outlaws coming up this weekend. This is up and away, ball 3. So the count goes full on the 10-hole batter in Zach Anderson, who singled his first time up back in the 2nd. Champlin glanced to second, home with the payoff. Anderson tips it bat foul as he hangs alive, putting up a good fight here against Champlin as he's already seen 7. That's the one thing that's racked up Outlaws pitchers' pitch count here in some games is certain at-bats they just haven't been able to get batter looking or chasing at a 3rd strike. as Champlin delivers the 3-2, low and outside for ball 4. As the Stallions going to have bases loaded with nobody out here in this bottom of the 5th. And Polick now going to walk out and have a conversation with Champlin. Keaton, Mark, and Josiah ask us to put in the dugout for now, but we get some stretching going on down in the Outlaw pen to no surprise. It's Rodriguez who's down at third. Travella stands at second, and with Anderson walking, he's now at first, as the bases will be loaded for the top of the order. Certainly not a spot the Outlaws were hoping they'd be in on the road here in this 5th inning. Outlaws were hoping that they could put together a good, nice, well-rounded effort on the road here at Cantine tonight and show that opening night was a fluke, but the Stallions proving thus far to this point that opening night game was not a fluke, as they've held the Outlaws to just 2 hits and 4 base runners in total through 5 innings. First pitch to back, and he lays off as it's ball 1. The Stallions team certainly going to be a team to beat for the Outlaws here moving forward this summer, and 5 times like the chances of getting a couple of W's out of there. As Champlin's 1-0, breaks over the plate for a called strike, 1-1. Outlaws need some outs, and they need them in a big way quickly. Here's Champlin in some distress, 1-1. Out to left center field. Hopko and Dale both charging over for it. Hopko going to get it just in front of the track. Powers a throw in, and on a hop, a run scores. So a productive out, as it'll be F7 for out number 1 and an RBI for back, as the score going to go to 3-0 Stallions. So we'll update our scoreboard here for you. And as always, if I get a pitch or 2 behind or a run behind or whatever, I want to remind you that we're running a one-man show here in the booth in Saugerties, so just bear with me on that. But we got it all set now, 3-0 to score in favor of the Stallions. 1 away, and it's runners at first and third for Byram Hott. Hott took a big swing and tipped that one off the nub as he'll trail behind 0-1. Saugerties 7-2 entering this one, and they have lost 2 in a row after they fell to the defending champs in the Amsterdam Mohawks, who have won 3 of 4 in the league on Sunday, 10-0, and then took that 1-run loss at Utica last night. Little heads up, Travella looked like he wanted to run when the throw was trying to get Anderson over there at first. Have seen some runs come in to score on fluky plays like that here on the also young PGCBL season so far. 0-1 blasted out towards right center. Dale and Burnsworth over. Burnsworth going to yank it in. Tagging up from third to score going to be Travella, and the lead is going to be 4-0. So Saugerties getting 2 runs on 2 flyouts in this inning. And now Champlin hoping with just a runner over there at first, the damage will be done. Hoping he can get a 3rd out here. Anderson still at first after he walked. Now back-to-back flyouts draw up. Ethan Conrad stands at 5'11", 200 in the box for Saugerties. Took a breaking pitch for a called strike. That one looked very good out of Champlin's hand. Champlin just wrapped up his freshman year at SUNY Cobleskill. Local guy on this Outlaw roster from South Courtright. As Conrad lays off to make the count 1-1. Conrad way back with his left foot, almost to the back chalk line in the batter's box. And this one bounces off the plate, ball 2. Conrad hit by a pitch in the first inning, scooted around, he homered in the first inning and came in to score, and then popped out to shortstop in the 3rd inning. Is the 2-1 from Champlin, going to once again bounce off the plate, and the count will go 3-1. Is Champlin having a hard time getting his 3rd consecutive out to get out of the inning? Outlaws do have action down in that bullpen. There's a couple of guys up and stretching now once more. Just got past Champlin's glove. Connolly flips it to Harden, and they get the out at second base. So it'll be a 4-6 to retire Anderson down there at second base. And we will go to the top of the sixth here on Outlaws YouTube. Saugerties plates 2 more, and it is a 4-0 score. Top of the sixth inning, back here on Outlaws YouTube, and Nick Pettit going to return to the bump for a second inning coming out of the Stallions pen. Another look at the PGCBL out-of-town scoreboard up in Watertown at the Alex T. Duffy Fairground Stadium. The Rapids holding a 5-2 lead on Glens Falls. At Deethrit Park in Jamestown, Batavia now leading the Tarpsguns 4-2. Utica's tied things up against Amsterdam as it's 2-2, and the count going to go 1-0 on Burnsworth, who leads off here in the sixth inning for the Outlaws. Niagara Falls and Newark playing a high-scoring affair as they're already tied 5-5 in the bottom of the fourth at Colburn. Top of the sixth to Geneva. It's 3-run Red Wings as Burnsworth going to foul one off to make the count 1-1 here in Saugerties. You see the beautiful clouds above the outfield here at Canton Field. A little bit of pink above them as the sun's totally gone down now. Pettit kits and delivers the 1-1. Bounced that one off the plate. It'll go 2 balls and a strike on Burnsworth. 9-10-1 up in the outlaw order here in the sixth inning. As Pettit delivers the 2-1, Burnsworth takes a few hops to short. Rodriguez charges, fires in time as they retire Burnsworth on a 6-3 for the first out of the inning. Burnsworth started this game 0 for 2 in the 9 spot for Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska, making his first appearance since Saturday. Sometimes it is hard making that adjustment, only playing every couple of days here as Burnsworth, one of the depth options on the roster for the Outlaws. Bateman going to tip the first pitch he sees, straight away foul. It did get out of the ballpark here at Canton. Now the catcher and Anderson being forced to get a new baseball to his pitcher and Pettit. 0-1 count with 1 away. Bateman resets. Is that going to skip in the opposite batter's box? 1-1 it'll be. Pettit trying to settle into a groove here. He gave up a single to Brody Raleigh on a 1-1 to begin things. Brody Raleigh getting forced out at second, caught stealing, and then he got 2 quick outs to get out of the 5th inning. And now Pettit getting a nice call on that lower outside corner as the count will be 2 balls and a strike. Tanner Harden waiting on deck for the Outlaws as we'll go back to the top of the order with Bateman fouling one off. We're back even at 2-2. Left foot set way up on the shot line for Bateman. As he doesn't offer at this one. And Pettit wanted that call as the count going to be jacked. 3-2 with one away. Mauricio set way over off the first base bag. Travella and Rodriguez up the middle as Bateman going to go down swinging on a strike 3. Bateman just hasn't been able to get good bat on ball here for the Outlaws in his last couple of appearances. Got a nice single against Utica, but over the course of his last 8 at-bats, just 1 hit. So Bateman certainly going to hope he can turn things around when he gets back to the dish. As we go to the top of the order once more, Tanner Harden first pitch swinging out to center. Cuello over on it in the gap for the out. So the Outlaws going to go down 1-2-3 here in the 6th inning against Nick Pettit. Bottom half of the 6th coming up next. Remains 4-0. Stallions score. Much to our surprise up here, Adam Champlin going to remain in the ball game for the Outlaws. He's already gone 2 innings, and he hangs out there to at least begin a third as we go to 4, 5, 6 in the Stallions order here in the bottom half of inning number 6. Outlaws going down 1-2-3 in the top half of the 6th as the team mustering just a total of 5 base runners against Stallions pitching on the evening thus far. First pitch to Riccio, sailed out and away for ball 1 as he quickly works ahead. Riccio 0 for 2 on the ball game thus far as Champlin delivers this one in. Once again, misses the plate about the same spot, 2-0. Champlin, a 3-sport athlete in high school. Played soccer, basketball, and baseball at Courtwright. As that'll go off the plate. Slider from Champlin just wouldn't break properly. 3-0's the count. Champlin looking to get some strikes as the 3-0 missed out and away once more. And Riccio has drawn a 4-pitch walk to begin the 6th. So he'll trot down to first after removing his little shin guard. And Fritz Genther going to come up here for Saugerties. It won't be long before these two teams meet up again. As on Tuesday night, Saugerties will come to Oneonta and then turn around and 6 days later, Saugerties will come to Oneonta again. So the next 2 between these two will be up at Damaski Field. It's a quick little lead off of first for Riccio. First pitch swing fouled off by Genther as he'll trail 0-1. Genther tipped it up behind home plate, foul. And now he settles himself right back in the box. He's 1 for 2 in the game as he did hit a double back in the 2nd inning. Pick-off attempt from Champlin, keeping Riccio honest down there near the first base bag. This Outlaw team, as Champlin sends in an 0-1, out to center. Dale gonna pull it in. So they'll be one away here with a runner at first for Saugerties. And as I was saying, this Outlaw team really just needs one big thing to go their way. Is since that play in the second inning yesterday against Mohawk Valley, this team really hasn't gotten any good breaks to go their way. Polek with a gun throw to second. And Raleigh got called out on a play just like that 2 innings ago. But they give a steal to Riccio. You know, it looked like the tag had been laid on by Connolly in time. So the Stallions get another break to go their way. And the count is now quickly 0-1 on Jarrett May. Riccio running again. He gets into third standing up. And so he's got 2 stolen bases here in the 6th inning. So the Stallions now with a runner 90 feet away. Is the count going to go 2-1 on May? Riccio taking a couple of step lead off the third base down there for the Stallions. Certainly be something to see him try to come home on a ball as the 2-1 bounced in the dirt. Polek knocked it off the chest protector, but Riccio cruises in from third to score as the count goes 3-1 on the wild pitch, and the Stallions now going to lead this thing 5-0. So Riccio steals 2 bags as he gets the second stolen bag, gets the third stolen bag, and then comes in and crosses the plate on a wild pitch. And the Outlaws not even getting a second out on the board yet as the count now 3-1, and that'll miss the plate. So a second walk in the inning issued by Champlin. So Champlin already going for his longest outing. Not that he had much competition with just one prior outing, which came against Watertown last Tuesday night. Again, he went 2 innings in that game. Gave up 2 runs, both of which were earned on 1 hit, giving up 2 walks. First pitch swinging, Michael Cuello out to the gap in right center. Dale going over, hauls it down for the out. So Jacoby Dale making it look easy in the right center field gap on another fly ball, and now Michael Cuello is 0 for 7 on the season against the Oneonta Outlaws. Saugerties has Jarrett May down there at first. Adam Champlin looking to get one more out and get out of this 6th inning and give Oneonta a chance to come to the 7th and try to get the offense going. Huge swing and a miss, Rich Rodriguez, as he'll trail 0-1. Champlin going to that off speed, getting swings and misses on his curveball here against Saugerties. Here on the road for the Outlaws. Back-to-back road games as we were in Mohawk Valley last night. Champlin now ahead on Rodriguez, 0-2. Outlaws were lucky that they got to play 5 of their first 6 at home, but now things getting busy on the road here quickly. As Champlin going to take a quick glance home. Comes set on the 0-2. Skyrocketed on the infield. Everybody from the Outlaw infield charging. Harrison stitched the glove up and is able to make the play. And so Saugerties going to strand a runner here in this bottom half of inning number 6. But they do get another run across the plate. The 7th inning comes up next. It's 5-0 Saugerties. 2, 3, 4 going to be up for the Oneonta Outlaws in the top of the 7th as Keaton Mark and Josiah Aska having a long conversation before the two of them walk out to coach their respective bats here for the Outlaws in this fray. This team has really just struggled to get the bats going tonight here in Saugerties as the Stallions pitchers holding this squad to just 2 hits through 6 innings. And the man up at the plate, Brendan Connolly, has been one of the hottest Outlaws to begin the season, and he's 0 for 2 on the night, entering this trip to the dish. Connolly, you heard from him back on our pregame show tonight. Full interview posted after this game ends on our Facebook and Instagram, as we do apologize not being able to get it up pregame like usual. So we had a little editing issue on the bus on the way here this afternoon. As Pettit kicks and delivers the 2-0, Connolly a huge swing, and the count will go 2-1. Pettit remaining in this game here for Saugerties, trying to get through a 3rd inning. Nobody has been able to solve this man for a run yet on the summer. As he kicks the 2-1 in there, Connolly, a slow bouncer. Going to be a foul ball as it took it hop into foul ground just before it got to that third base bag. So Connolly quickly works ahead, 2-0, and now 2 straight strikes by Pettit, going to make it back at a 2-2. Outlaws have had just 2 base runners through the last 3 innings. This team has left 3 on base here in Saugerties tonight. Stallions, not too many more on base. Is Connolly going to be rung up on a 3rd strike swing. There'll be 1 away here for Nick Pettit, who struck out 4 Outlaws already since coming out of the bullpen here tonight. Jacoby Dale going to come up for the Outlaws with 1 away in the inning. Dale, a guy you heard from yesterday on our social media prior to our trip to Mohawk Valley. He'll quickly trail in the count 0-1. Talking to him a little bit off the record yesterday, found out that he's planning to go back to Wayne State for 1 more year. It's my apologies on our pitch count there. 0-1. Dale, a little slow bouncer, foul territory. Going to work full-time on a Masters and play 1 more year for the Warriors. As the count quickly 0-2 on Dale. Pettit comes sit, fires this in low at the shoelaces for ball 1. Dale lays off when he doesn't think he can get a piece. A guy who's always consistent in his approach at the dish is the 1-2 from Pettit. Dale check swing. And they say he came around. Back-to-back Ks for Pettit to begin the top of the 7th. Back-to-back swinging Ks at that to retire Connolly and Dale, tongue twister. And Jack Hopko going to strut up to the dish. Jack Hopko here at Saugerties tonight gets a not warm welcome to the dish like his usual let's groove that you hear at Damaski Field when he comes to the plate. Hopko takes a first pitch called strike, and he'll quickly trail in the count 0-1. Nick Pettit has been absolutely brilliant here for the Saugerties Stallions on the summers. He skips that one in there, ball 1. Pettit going to step off and readjust. Count 1-1, 2 away here in the top of the 7th. Hopko, another huge swing as Pettit just continues to pound that fastball. He's 1 strike away from striking out the Outlaws side here in the top half of the 7th. Pollock is on deck if the Outlaws need him. The 1-2, Hopko with a quick foul ball as he hangs alive for at least 1 more pitch. I want to remind you once again, Outlaws back at home tomorrow to play Amsterdam. It'll be a 7 o'clock first pitch happy hour sponsored by Omnigine Brewery. Going to run from 5 to 6 beforehand. 1-2 by Hopko. Out in the left field. Charging in the corner. This one's going to get passed back. Rolls into the corner. Hopko going to stop at second. And he has himself 2 doubles in this game. Pettit gets 1 strike away from striking out the side here in the 7th, but Hopko says heck no to that. He's in at second standing up, and now they are going to need Pollock, who has to take off his shin guards and come to the plate. Pollock 0 for 2 in the ball game thus far. Is Pettit going to sail that one in low and outside for ball 1. Pollock has been part of this real solid Outlaws catching corps to begin the summer. Was talking to Darren Dangler a little bit the other day about how all these Outlaw catchers have continued to learn from each other as the summer's gone on. They've taken on some new tips and tricks and drills from each other as the 1-0 out and away balls 2. Dangler and Grantham, both graduating high school seniors who are heading into their respective freshman years in college, and both of those two have leaned on each other heavily here in their first summer in the PGCBL and first summer in Oneonta at that. Pettit, a quick glance down to second. Hopko has a huge lead. Is that one going to miss the plate yet again for ball 3? Pettit looking a little rattled with 3 straight balls after the double by Hopko. Brody Raleigh in the on-deck circle for the Outlaws. 3-0 count, 2 away. Here in the top of the 7th. Outlaws down 5-0 on the road. As that's going to be a called strike. Pollock thought he had gotten the ball 4. He's going to hang around here to play for at least one more pitch as it's 3-1 now. Jack Hopko has doubled in 2 straight at bats here between the 4th and 7th now. As the 3-1 from Pettit quickly skied up and going to get just beyond the Outlaw dugout. Hits the roof, actually, as the count will go bat full as Pettit's gotten back-to-back strikes after Pollock worked ahead 3-0. So Outlaws, despite a shortage of base runners here at Saugerties tonight, only down by 5 here in the top half of inning number 7. Pettit from the stretch with a runner on base. The payoff, ball 4. Pollock going to draw the walk, and there's 2 Outlaws on here against Pettit. Pettit is yet to allow 2 base runners in an inning this season for Saugerties. And now he does it here against the Outlaws and gives Brody Raleigh a chance to do some damage. Raleigh 1 for 2 on the night thus far. Him and his former Maine Endwell Little League World Series teammate combining for the Outlaws' only hits on the board here in Saugerties tonight. Saugerties not too far from where the magic happened for this team. Got 2 guys throwing in the Outlaw pen, so Champlin's night probably going to be over as we turn things over to the bottom half of the 7th. Pettit, a quick glance to second, home with the 0-1. Laying off that one, Raleigh. Threw the mask off. Both Outlaw base runners going to advance, and it'll be second and third with 2 outs. So it'll be a wild pitch to get Hopko to third and Pollock to second. One count, 2 away, and that's a called strike. And now Raleigh will step out and take a breather. Pettit 1 strike away from stranding 2 Outlaw base runners in scoring position again. Saugerties left 2 in the 3rd inning on base, 2nd and 3rd for the Outlaws, as that was bottom of the order as well. Harrison and Armstrong being left on the base pass. This one going to skip away from Anderson, and the first run of the night is going to cruise in to score for the Outlaws. It's 5-1. Skip past Anderson, and we go to a 5-1 score here on Outlaws YouTube. Pollock will advance to third with Hopko crossing the plate. That is the first run that Pettit has allowed this summer here in the PGCBL. 2-2 on Raleigh, and now Anderson once again keeps it in front as it'll go 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Pettit has worked himself into 5 consecutive 2-strike counts. Got strikeouts in the first 2, but then gave up a double and a walk and a little slow dribbler. Going to go back to the screen as Raleigh hangs alive. Colton Harrison waiting on deck for the Outlaws. as they did snap their scoreless inning streak with this run that's crossed the plate in Jack Kopko, which will be an on-earned run against Nick Pettit, the 3-2. Swing and a miss as Pettit straight to 3 Outlaws in the inning, but he also gives up a run. We turn things over to the bottom half of the 7th here at Canton Field in Saugerties. It's 5-1 in favor of the Saugerties Stallions. Bottom of the 7th, we're glad you stuck around to join us here on Outlaws YouTube for this one. 5-1, the Stallions in control of this one in their home barn. And Adam Champlin going to hang in the ballgame for the Outlaws after Hardy having made it through 3 innings. Facing 9-10-1 here in the order for the Stallions here in the 7th inning. Outlaws, as I mentioned, in the top half of the 7th, if you're with us. Heavy throwing going on in the bullpen. Travello with a bomb going to fall in front of Hopko and left. He's on with a leadoff single, takes a big turn, but he'll hold up there. And the Stallions in business immediately to start the 7th. And Keaton Mark going to look down to the Outlaw bullpen. So this should be the end of the night for Adam Champlin. Yes, indeed. Mark going to point down to the bullpen. He'll take the ball from Adam Champlin. Was just getting one hitter to begin the 7th inning. So Keaton Mark made the second call of the bullpen of the night. And we'll step aside for a quick break here on YouTube. Well, you all at home held your breath wondering who was going to be the next man out of the Outlaw bullpen. We now have the answer. Liam Blair, who just finished his sophomore year at Plymouth State, going to be the man out of the bullpen here for Keaton Mark and Josiah Asconetz. Through just 2 1/3 innings up at Plymouth State this year, 3 appearances, threw an inning against St. Joseph's on March 14th, turned around and threw twice in April, both for 2/3 of an inning. April 15th, 2/3 of an inning against Gordon, and then 2/3 of an inning on April 29th against Colby Sawyer. So he has not seen live batters since April 29th is Liam Blair, but he's out here to see the Saugerties Stallions on the road tonight, making his first appearance of the summer for the Outlaws in grand fashion. The Stallions have a 4-run lead, and they're entrusting things to him to try to keep this game tight and give the Outlaws a chance to mount a comeback over the final couple innings here tonight. Zach Anderson going to come up for Saugerties. Runner at first is Travella after the single to start the frame. Blair going to send one in high for ball 1. First pitch from him. Blair is one of those local guys on the Outlaw roster, as we've stressed the fact that this roster takes on a pretty local front here in 2024. He's from Davenport Center as his 1-0. Going to be shot up high on the infield. Harrison coming over Connolly as well. It's Harrison who grabs it out of the air for the out. So it'll be a P3 for out number 1 as Harrison getting underneath that one. Nice to see Blair get a quick out coming out of the pen as we go back to the top of the Saugerties Stallions order. Blair will see how long of a leash that he gets tonight, as we already have some more stretching going on down in the Oneonta pen. Blair looking to the plate as it's Tyler back in the lefty batter's box. In there, ball 1. Blair was trying to sell that call. Scott Pollock behind the plate, who's very good at pitch framing. One thing that he was complimented on there at Marist. Great pitch framing ability behind the dish is the 1-0 in there for a called strike. Back 0 for 3 with an RBI in this ball game for Saugerties. Picked up an RBI in the 5th on his fly out to left. Saugerties has scored in 4 different innings tonight. Only one they've scored multiple was the 5th. Is that one going to get off Harrison's glove, roll all the way to the fence line, and now Saugerties is going to have a runner in scoring position with 1 away. So it'll be an E1 on Liam Blair. And the Outlaws getting their 2nd error of the game in the field. This team picking up 4 errors in Mohawk Valley last night, so the defense has certainly not been what they'd like it to be over these last couple of days. Now showing bunt, back able to pull it back for ball 2. Liam Blair and Colton Harrison just having a little bit of a miscommunication on that ball that advanced Travella over there to second. Sometimes with a new pitcher and a first baseman who's not used to working with that pitcher, you get a play like that every so often. It's another bad luck thing that didn't go the Outlaws' ways. The count will go 3-1 with Blair throwing another ball. So already 5 runs on 5 hits thus far. Oneonta 1 run on 3 hits. It's Jack Kopko certainly having himself a nice night at the dish with a pair of doubles. But the Outlaws haven't been able to do much more than that. 3-1 from Blair. Low and away outside for ball 4. So back, going to draw the walk. And there'll be 2 on base here for the Stallions. Byram Hott will come up next. He's 0 for 3 with a ribby, which came in the 5th inning. Third base, the only bag open for Liam Blair in the Outlaws defense. Here now on the road, in this matchup against the Saugerties Stallions team, they were hoping they could shut down and give their third straight loss tonight. We popped up foul. And Hot's quickly going to trail on the count, and we'll get a mound visit from Polak to see Liam Blair here. Nothing wrong with going out and talking to your pitcher with 2 on base here in this inning. We had Adam Champlin give off a leadoff single to Travella, Then we turned around, got a pop out from Anderson before a walk to back. Leaves it where we're at right now. First and second with 1 away here in this bottom of the 7th. And the Outlaws looking to get out of this inning. Strained a couple on base for the Stallions and come back to the plate in the 8th, hoping that they can plate a few more and keep the momentum rolling on their side. 0-1 from Blair. Sails low and outside. Ball 1 as it evens back up. Blair, nice to see him back in Oneonta for his second summer. One of 10 returners on this Outlaw team here in 2024 from a season ago. And a guy that Keaton March said that he's glad decided to come back this season because Blair going to have an impact on this pitching staff moving forward as the count goes 1-2. Every guy that Mark brought back this summer said was going to play a big impact for this team in some way and is going to lead the way for all the guys who are playing their first summer in Oneonta. Got a 40-man roster up at Damaski Field. This is the 1-2. Going to be bulleted up into the Outlaw bullpen area, foul. So Hot going to readjust himself and come back to the box. Certainly hasn't been the night he wanted. Had the day off yesterday at Utica, so he's had 2 days to sit on his 0-for-4 night against Amsterdam in the 10-0 loss on Sunday. Hasn't done much for him. 0-for-3 with a ribby tonight. It was his sacrifice fly to right field in the 5th. 1-2, he gets rung up looking. And Liam Blair going to get his first strikeout of the summer, and there's 2 away here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Ethan Conrad going to mosey on up to the plate for Saugerties. He homered in the first inning, popped out to short in the 3rd, reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th. As Conrad remaining a productive cog in the Saugerties lineup. Going to lay off the first one. As Blair tried to go to that slider and just couldn't locate it over the plate. Blair always a pleasant face to run into around the Outlaw clubhouse. Was very annoyed that we weren't allowed to stream last night at Mohawk Valley. He made that clear to me. Saugerties, runners on first and second, 2 away. As Blair going to fire in the 1-0 high. It was head level on Conrad as it goes 2-0. Ryan Resio waiting on deck here for the Stallions. As Blair behind in the count to the lefty 2-0. Drills this one in there for a called strike on the lower outside edge. Took a nice break on the curve over the plate. As Blair fastball, curveball, sliders, which we'll see out of him. Third base, the only bag open. Blair trying to get out of this inning and get the Outlaws back to the dish. The 2-1, another nice break, but not going to get the call on that one as it'll go 3-1. Outlaws hosting the Amsterdam Mohawks tomorrow night at Damaski Field. So our last home game for 5 days is then we won't be back at home after tomorrow until we see the same Saugerties team next Tuesday in a 7 o'clock game. 3-1 in there, belt level, ball 4, as the base is going to be full here for Liam Blair in this bottom of the 7th. So Blair is certainly going to need to locate well on the next batter, which is the aforementioned Ryan Riccio. Ryan Resio has reached base just once tonight as he was retired his first 2 times up, fly out to center and a strikeout, and then he walked back in the 6th inning, came into scores. He takes a first pitch strike from Blair. Pitch looked great. Is Blair going to need a couple more of those to get out of this inning? Blair from the first base side of the rubber comes set, delivers the 0-1. Won't get the call, up and away once more as it goes 1-1. Blair looking down to Pollock. Has the 1-1 from Blair. Nice break, but he doesn't get the call. Blair really showing off the breaking stuff tonight against the Stallions. Just not getting those calls as he's trying to paint the corners. Resio heading to count 2-1. Blair in there, gonna back him up off the plate as that one came in at the chin. 3-1, count will go. Resio wasn't looking to get hit by one that kind of airmailed away from Blair. Blair not a guy who'd ever mislocate a pitch like that with ill intent. Is the 3-1, swing and a miss. Sounded like it tipped off the bat as it'll go 3-2 with 2 outs. So Blair looking for a third strike to get out of this inning and hopefully stray on the bases full of Saugerties Stallions. Takes a huge breath seeing the 4-hole hitter and Martin's lineup here for Saugerties. All the runners on the move as Blair does the job. He gets the strikeout to stray on the bases full of Stallions here in the bottom half of inning number 7. We turn things over to the Outlaws, half of the 8th here on Oneonta YouTube. We will be right back. Top of the 8th inning, back here on Outlaws YouTube. 5-1, the Stallions leading here in their home park against your Outlaws. Oneonta going to trot up Colton Harrison, Chase Armstrong, Owen Burnsworth to see the new Saugerties pitcher, which is Elias Conway. Conway, a 6'1", 185 righty, coming out of Delaware from East Nassau, New York. He's 1-1 on the summer thus far with a 2.57 ERA and 3 games played as Harrison takes a big hack and can't connect as it'll go 0-1. Harrison hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning, struck out swinging in the 5th as the 0-1 from Conway in there bit low as it'll be 1-1. Conway, good little location on that one, just couldn't get the call. As he's back out here tonight looking to do good after a tough outing against Amsterdam on Sunday. As he throws heat, and Harrison will quickly be behind 1-2. Conway In that inning against Amsterdam on Sunday, 1 hit, 3 runs, both earned. Walked 3 and struck out 1, facing just 8 is Harrison, going to be sent down swinging. Took a little late hack at that one, and there'll be 1 away here in the top half of the Oneonta 8th. Armstrong going to come up next for the Outlaws. Seeing the lefty, he'll have to take it from the right side. Conway going to step and fire it in. Huge swing, and Armstrong going to be behind 0-1. Armstrong, once again, just getting the bat duties tonight as he's played the field just twice here for the Outlaws thus far. As that one sails low and outside, ball 1. Outlaws' third man up in the inning going to be Owen Burnsworth, who stands in the on-deck circle. After Colton Harrison came off, he did exchange some words with Burnsworth, so it'll be interesting to see his at-bat as Armstrong, another huge swing, and he goes down 1-2. Conway and the Stallions bullpen trying to slam the door on the Outlaws, who put up an unearned run against Nick Pettit in the top of the 7th inning. Hopko doubled, came in to score as Armstrong going to be rung up looking. Armstrong just takes it without a question, walking back to the dugout as there's 2 down for Owen Burnsworth. Burnsworth over 2 on the night thus far. Grounded out 1-4 in the 3rd inning as it's pitcher to second base. And then in the 6th inning, grounded out 6-3, shortstop to first as Burnsworth lays off a first pitch ball. Burnsworth about an inch back off the chalk line. Righty swinger, just finished freshman year at RPI as the count evened up 1-1 with Conway pounding these fastballs. Bateman waiting on deck for the Outlaws as the 1-1. Gonna brush him back off the plate, 2-1. We said, sets up quite a ways towards that dish. 2-1, 2 away, top of the 8th inning. Outlaws down 5-1 here at Saugerties. Pitch from Conway, popped up. Anderson threw off the mask, able to make it on the screen. Anderson gonna be down on the field. It looked like he caught his face off the screen. Certainly in some distress as he's not getting up right now. We're going to take a break here on Outlaws YouTube. Bottom of the 8th inning coming up next. It remains 5-1 in favor of the Stallions. 5-6-7 here for the Stallions in the bottom of the 8th. Is Liam Blair going to come back out for his second inning of work here in the Oneonta bullpen. Recorded all 3 outs in the bottom half, the 7th frame, after coming in to relieve Adam Champlin, who gave up a leadoff single in that frame after coming out trying to start a 4th inning. Is this one going to immediately brush Genther back off the plate? Anderson, after a little scary play up behind the plate, smashed his face off the screen just ahead of the concrete behind home and got walked off the field after a little bit of time. And it was nice to see him come off the field and be all right here. But Anderson probably not going to see him in the 9th as the count's 0-2 here quickly on Genther. Jarrett May and Michael Quayu going to be up to follow him as Blair trying to mow Saugerties down here as quickly as he can. Get the Outlaws up in the top of the 9th, needing 4 to tie this one. Bounce this one south of the plate for ball 2. And now for Genther. They're working ahead 0-2. It's even back up at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Outlaws have Brendan Connolly set up on a diagonal from second. Harden about halfway between second and third as this one tipped off the end of the bat. Bat behind the plate. And Genther going to hang alive here. Once again, another reminder. We'll be back at home tomorrow night, 7 o'clock start against the Amsterdam Mohawks. Happy hour by Omnigain Brewery starts at 5. We'll run from 5 to 6, so make sure you come early. Enjoy happy hour and also purchase some tennis balls as we've started a new thing at Damascus Field. If you haven't come out and experienced it just yet, make sure you do. As it's our answer to chuck a puck is you buy a tennis ball and then we set a bucket up at home plate after the game ends. And we have fans throw balls, and whoever lands in the bucket or the closest to the bucket gets themselves an Outlaws autographed batting practice top. It's a little ball that was sent in fair territory. Polak was ready for that one. But Blair going to settle back to it once again. 6 pitches already having been thrown to the leadoff and Genther here to begin this bottom of the 8th. Blair comes set and fires it high and upstairs, ball 3. Blair, another payoff pitch coming up. He worked himself in a 3-3 ball count in the 7th inning after coming out. Outlaws do have action down in the bullpen. If they need another arm. Oneonta hoping they do. If they're open, Blair will finish off this inning and get him to the 9th. We get a single into shallow left field. Genther working bat from down 0-2 in the count to get it full, and then smokes a single on the left, and there'll be a Stallion on base here to begin the 8th. Jarrett May now going to come to the plate here for Saugerties. Outlaws going to shift over and play double play defense. Yet to turn one in the field tonight here on the road. Couple of huge practice hats in the box for Jarrett May. May with an even stance in the box. Left foot elevated just a slight edge. Is that one in the worms, in the dirt for the worms, ball 1. In there for the worms, in the dirt for the worms, whatever you want to call it. 1-0 is the count. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Blair from the first base side delivers that 1-0 up and in, ball 2. So Blair really needs some strikes to start going his way. Here in this 8th inning on the road at Canton Field. Got a little bit of a glare at home plate with the lighting here in Saugerties, so apologize about that. As the 2-0 in there for a called strike, 2-1. Outlaws just 1 run, 3 hits, and have committed 2 errors in the field on the night. Saugerties 5 runs, 6 hits, and the board says they've been perfect in the field tonight. As the 2-1 Blair, Pollock with a gun throw down to second, going to skip away from Connolly into shallow center. Dale comes in on this one, made sure that ball didn't get through. It'll be a stolen bag for Genther, and the count's going to go 2-2. Genther was immediately on the move the second that ball was out of Blair's hand. He gets into second, and now the Outlaws going to have to change the baseball as Blair wants a new one, with a count at 2-2. Michael Quayle on deck here for Saugerties. Second meeting of 5 in the season series between these two East Division rivals, as that one's airmailed in there for ball 3. And Blair has worked himself into back-to-back full counts here to begin the 8th. Blair ready once again for the payoff. Delivers it in, ball 4. So Blair having a hard time with his command, and Keaton Mark looking down to the Outlaw pen. Will this be the end of the line for Liam Blair? Yes, indeed. Keaton Mark going to make another call to the bullpen down here in Saugerties. So Liam Blair sees his first appearance, gets out of a jam in the big way in the 7th inning, but Saugerties going to have a pair on base here in the 8th, and Keaton Mark another call to the Outlaw pen. It's 5-1 Saugerties. Show up on scene this week and immediately get forced into duty. Once again, Lawrence Ellenson out of the Outlaws bullpen, and this time for a second straight day. Ellenson last night up at Mohawk Valley got the final out at the bottom of the 4th. Saw 3 hitters, gave up 1 hit, throwing just 11 pitches, 5 of which were for strikes. Ellenson just concluding his freshman year at Long Island U, which put on a heck of a postseason run as he bounces his first pitch of the evening. Similar setup to what we saw last night up at Mohawk, as Ellenson threw 2 straight balls before he finally found the strike zone for 1. LIU pulled off one of the surprises early on in the NCAA tourney, knocking off North Carolina, so it prevented these LIU guys from getting here right away. 2 of the 3 LIU guys signed for Oneonta for 2024 in town now, as this one clips off the bat and the count going to go 1-1. So the Outlaws, the vast majority of the roster now in town, as we're here in Game 10 tonight down at Saugerties. 46-game season, so plenty more time to get everybody their opportunities to shine. 2 runners on base for Saugerties. Third is the only bag open. Huge swing as Ellenson going to work ahead in the count 1-2. Rich Rodriguez is going to be up next for Saugerties. As they're trying to send down Michael Cuello for the 8th time this season as he comes into this at bat. Bounced in the dirt, going to get away from Pollock all the way to the bat stop as both base runners advance. And Fritz Genther looking like he wanted to take a turn towards home, but he's forced to stay back there as the count even at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ellenson, we saw him last night register a couple of pitches that could potentially have skipped away if he didn't have the right bat stop. He doesn't have the catcher he's accustomed to working with from LIU. His Outlaws pair of infielders and Ellenson on the roster this summer. This will be another brush bat pitch. As Cuello taking one in tight at the belt. 3 balls and 2 strikes and nobody out. Ellenson, quick look to second, the 3-2 pitch. Belted high in the air towards center field. Dale Burnsworth over there. Burnsworth, the man who's able to yank it down. Tagging up from third, cruising into score. Going to be Fritz Genther. Throw it third, gets away, but Jarrett May going to stay put there as we got ourselves a ribby, and the Stallions lead back to 5, 6-1. So, yeah, certainly far from the ideal inning that the Outlaws wanted, as they were hoping they could keep it a 4-run ball game and get us back to the dish in the 9th inning, only down 4, but 5 runs, still not an insurmountable mountain. It's an F9, fly out to right if you're scoring at home with an RBI on the sacrifice for Cuello. Genther scoring, and May advancing to third. Come in tight to Rodriguez. Is the count going to quickly go 1-0? Rodriguez reached on a fielder's choice, reached on an error, and has popped out to first. So he's looking to reach for the 3rd time in this ball game here against Outlaws pitching as Allenson's 1-0. Not going to get there for ball 2. Ellenson trying to get that lower outside corner here on the first 2 against Rodriguez. The 2-0. Called strike, 2-1. So Ellenson hoping to get a couple more strikes, get out of this 8th inning. Ellenson, the 2-1. Smoke towards short, Harden dives, but it rolls into left. Another run's going to soar for Saugerties. It's 7-1 here in the 8th. Rich Rodriguez puts up an RBI, and now 2 have crossed the plate here since Ellenson has come on in. Pollock is going to stay put behind the plate and not go out and talk to his pitcher, which is a bit interesting here in this bottom of the 8th inning. Saugerties now with the 2 hits in this inning, 7 runs, 7 hits. Is that one going to get off Pollock's webbing of the glove to the bat stop? And another runner going to advance as Rich Rodriguez gets the 2nd on the wild pitch. And so Saugerties going to have a runner in scoring position with still 1 out here in this 8th inning. Mario Travella has reached all 3 times he's come to the plate tonight. Trying to make it 4 as he lays off this one. 2 balls, no strikes. Dead next is the 2-0. Smoked up over the Outlaw dugout foul. 2 balls and a strike. So Ellenson probably not going to be available for a couple of days after tonight. So he threw 11 pitches last night, and now he's thrown upwards of 20 here against Saugerties. Smoked in the air towards left field. Hopko drifting over in the corner. Yanks it down for the out. So there's 2 away here in this 8th inning. And we do go down to the catcher spot for Saugerties. Had that scary play in the top half of the 8th inning where Zach Anderson threw off his mask and went back and bruised up his face and had what looked like bloody lips, but he's out of the ball game, and we get a change for Saugerties at the catcher position as Jot Blackmore going to take this at bat here with 2 away and a runner at second. So Blackmore, we're 16 for Saugerties. Going to take a first pitch strike as he'll fall behind 0-1. Was a good break from Ellenson. Scouting report on Ellenson was that he was going to come in here and pound off-speed pitches this summer, trying to work on those and heading back to LIU for a sophomore season in the fall. Blackmore's 0-1, popped right up to Harrison, took 2 steps back, pulls it in for the out. So it'll be a P3 to retire Saugerties as they strand another runner on base. They have left 8 on base in this game despite having a 7-1 lead here on the Outlaws. Oneonta coming to bat in the top of the 9th inning, hoping to keep this game alive and put up a 6 spot here against the Stallions. (10-1-2) for the Outlaws going to come up here in the 9th inning as this team needs 6 to keep this game going. Bateman, Hardin, Connolly, the guys to hopefully get the job done for the Outlaws as this team has showed they can play come-from-behind baseball this year time and time again. As 3 of their victories, they have trailed early and rallied back. As a check swing, going to see Bateman down 0-1 early. Bateman 0 for 2 in the ball game, seeing his 3rd at bat, which goes to show down here in the 10 spot that this Outlaw team has had a hard time getting through this lineup tonight. Outlaws mustering just a total 6 base runners throughout the course of the game coming into the 9th inning. Bateman's 1-1, gonna send it straight up over the roofing, 1-2. Bateman's been hitless for his last 5 at-bats, hoping to change that here in this 9th inning. On way out for a 2nd inning, delivers the 1-2. Bateman, slow roller to short. Rodriguez picks up, fires to first high, but in time, as it'll be 6-3 to retire Bateman. Here to send us back to the top half of the Outlaw order here in this 9th inning. Tanner Hardin up for his 4th time as he's 0 for 3 entering this trip to the dish. Very uncharacteristic of Hardin as through his first 5 games played had at least 1-1. Conway from the stretch on the 0-1, broke over the plate. Harden tipped it back foul, and he's down 0-2. Stallions have put up 18 runs in the season series thus far here in just game 2. Outlaws with the 1 as they were shut out on opening night at home by an 11-0 score. Conway gets and fires the 0-2, low in the dirt for ball 1. So the Outlaws top of the order coming into this Tanner Harden plate appearance. Combined 0 for 9 from 1 to 3 down in the order tonight. 1-2, he rings him up at the knees. And Harden going to walk back to the dugout, being the second out of this top half of the ninth. So the Outlaws going to turn things over to Brendan Connolly and hope that he can do some damage. Connolly settles himself in the box, 2 away. Lays off this one as it's ball 1. Connolly, a guy you like to see in the lineup here for the Outlaws, trying to stretch this game further. A good contact guy at number 2. Connolly hunts fastball, as you heard it from him on pregame today, and off the record he was talking about how he looks for an ideal fastball up and in where he can bring that bat around 90 degrees. Is the 2-0. Skied up and foul ground, 2-1. So Connolly trying to hang alive in this at-bat. On deck for the Outlaws, Jacoby Dale here in this top of the 9th with 2 away. Pitch from Conway, 2-1, right towards second on a bounce, knocked down by Travella, fires to Riccio, and Saugerties has taken the first 2 of the season series from your Outlaws. Saugerties, 7 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and the Outlaws go 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 errors in the field tonight. We're going to step aside and take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up here on Outlaws YouTube. So your final score tonight from Saugerties as we flash our post-game graphic up on the screen here for you. The Stallions take the victory from your Outlaws tonight, 7-1, the final score. Player of the game for your Outlaws tonight going to be none other than the guy we talked all so much about throughout the game, Jack Hopko, 2 for 3 at the plate with a pair of doubles. His first game where he records 2 extra base hits here this summer. So Hopko gets the player of the game nod for the Outlaws tonight. So we'll have that for you tomorrow, as well as our play of the game on Outlaws social medias. Every day, concluding an Outlaws game, you find our player of the game as well as our play of the game. And Jack Hopko getting the nod tonight. And I'm sure you won't be surprised what we choose for play of the game either after the way this one went. But 7-1, the Stallions take the victory. Oneonta going to be back to it at home tomorrow. 7 o'clock start against the Amsterdam Mohawks, and Saugerties travels to Albany for a 4:30 game Friday. So tomorrow night, we'll see you at Damaski Field, taking on the defending champs. Outlaws drop to 6-4 as this team has their first multi-game losing streak of the season as they'll head into tomorrow looking to break the slide against the Mohawks. 6-4, and Saugerties moving to 8-2. So thank you for watching this one tonight. The Stallions 7-1 take the victory over the Outlaws. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.